Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the preacher. Okay. Let me see if I can turn the comments on. I don't know how I'm looking or how I'm appearing. It doesn't look good on my end, but hopefully it looks good on your end. Let's see. Let me bring it down a little more. Okay. We're just going to go with whatever's here. So, thank you for being here. Um, the pros, relationships. Um, I was watching a video recently. I was watching a video, and the young man was talking about how important it is for men to own to own their insecurities, to own their insecurities in relationships. You know, don't hold back. Don't hold back who you are, the good and the bad. I was married for 32 years, for 32 years, and divorced twice. So the marriages didn't last. They didn't last. But there were things that I learned. I learned a lot in those 32 years, even though the marriages didn't last. I still learned a lot. Please click like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, please. Thank you so much. One of the things that I did learn that I believe was good in my marriages, I had two. Both marriages ended with the husbands marrying the next woman, one of the next women. So that's how they ended. But I will say that in those marriages, I had the ability to accept myself for exactly who I am. Likewise, I accepted them for exactly who they were, the good and the bad, the good and the bad. And how I was able to quote unquote accept the bad was through forgiveness. Forgiveness was the way. And then, there was a question in the Bible, well, how many times do I forgive? Basically, the answer is as many times as you need to. As long as I needed the marriage, needed the relationships, I needed to forgive as many times as I needed to in order to have the relationship. It's unlimited. That's how I look at forgiveness anyway in relationships. Now, the downfall in forgiving a lot of times while you're in the relationship and forgiveness is extended, there's benefits. So you don't feel the full effects of whatever happened. You don't feel the full effects of whatever happened because forgiveness comes with benefits. It allows the relationship to continue. Without forgiveness, the relationship will likely end. But what I experienced after 32 years of marriage, all that forgiveness, unlimited forgiveness, in order for the relationship to last, when the relationship does end, and one day it will, whether one of the persons die or through divorce, separation, something of that effect, then you have to, in some cases, explain to other people, how did you allow all that to happen? You have to explain your forgiveness. And not everybody read the Bible the same way, and not everyone reads with the same understanding. So, really, the only way for forgiveness to truly work and stick and last among one another is for the relationship to remain. Because once the relationship ends and it's over, people have to talk. People talk. You're no longer gagged. You're no longer covered under forgiveness anymore. In the moment separation, divorce, death occurs, now you have to endure the shame, the blame, that forgiveness once covered. At this point, you no longer benefit from it among one another as people. Of course, between us and the Lord, forgiveness is a different type of relationship. But the forgiveness among ourselves, we forget about that. We forget all that was forgiven. So sometimes it's best to separate, divorce, die, or something before the accumulation of sin. Because once that sin gets started, it runs its course. A lot of forgiveness takes place that may have to be explained later, layered with a lot of shame, blame, that whole game. So during those 32 years, I didn't hold back. I didn't hold back on the good side. I didn't hold back on the bad side. Not at all. So that when it all ended, it's just over. And now that I've gone through a lot of the shame and I blame myself, I blame other people, I, endured that process. Hmm, I feel better. I feel better. I feel repentant. I feel restored in the Lord. It's 5 years out, 5 years outside of that relationship. I'm just getting to the point where I'm ready for something new. Even if that new is just me being good to myself, being good to my children, being good to my grandchildren, being good to my neighbors. You know, I only have like a friend or two. Just be good to the people in my life, you know, and wherever I'm bad, handle it, deal with it. Don't shy away from it. I can't control what other people do, but I don't have a reason to run away. Not anymore. I'm glad that I brought my story to social media. It was humiliating and embarrassing at first, but now I feel light. I feel better. You know, I feel like I can go on. I can leave my shame, my humiliation, all the blame, the dirt in the river. And recently, one of my daughters told me to listen to a song like that about leaving my shame in the river, in the water, something like that. I was like, "Oh, that is so cool. I like that." Even if no one else friend or whatever, through hold on, trying to get rid of this cough. Okay. Um, I want myself. I love myself. It feels good to be me again, whatever that is. Knowing when to hold relationships and knowing when to hold is very important. How to do it, when to do it. But one thing I do not regret is complete acceptance, accepting myself completely, accepting themselves completely, the good, the bad, and everything. Even with our children, I was the same way. I took it all, the good, and I'm still that. I believe in wholeness, the whole person, inside and out. I believe in treating people within the range that I treat myself. Good and that's my range. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Mhm. I have no idea how this looks on the screen. My screen looks horrible on this side, but we'll see. All right, thank you so much. Click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we're just gonna get through life one day at a time, one relationship at a time. You know, some of us have multiple relationships. I mean, like romantic ones. No, some of us have multiple children, multiple parents, multiple employers. You know what I mean? Multiple neighbors. You know, we live in more of a multiple world than any other type of world. But I do not regret being who I am, loving the way that I love. But when things do not work out, I tend to go through a phase of not necessarily regret, but all that forgiveness. You revisit it and you just have to go to Most High, go to the Lord and give it to Him, charge it to Him. It's on his account. Forgive myself. That was the hardest thing, forgiving myself after all that forgiveness, to forgive myself. Now, I'm not saying that the other people involved did not have to go through their process. They had to deal with my good and bad. They had to forgive me for all the things that they had to forgive me for. And after it was all over with and said and done, they may have gone through their, shame, blame process and all of that. I have no idea. I have no idea. I just know that I had to go through mine, and mine has been a 5-year process, 5 years. And I'm not all the way done because I still need to become financially independent some kind of way. Not that that's really possible because Most High is my provider, Jehovah Jireh. So I'll never really be financially independent because I depend on Most High. I don't need to do the husband thing anymore. I don't need to, unless he says so. If he says so, it is what it is. But I'm not, you know, just going out there trying to find no husband. You know, I almost got caught up in a third marriage. I almost got caught up in third marriage. I had to catch myself. I need this time for I need this time for me. I need this time for my children, grandchildren, and I love it. It's risky. It's risky from day to day, but I still need it. I was married at age 20, put in 32 strong years. Those are during the young years, my 20s and 30s and 40s. I'm saying during the hard years, during the cheating years, you know what I'm saying? Stuck at home with baby and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Ooh. But I made it. I made it. I just don't want to go through it no more. And I realized just because men are in their 50s and 60s and stuff, 70s, they don't slow down. Nope, they do not slow down. And I put the brakes on that. I said, ooh, I'm too old to go on. It's me. I'm too old. Now the young girls can handle it. They can still handle, they got the energy for all of that. You know, I just don't have the energy for it. It takes a lot to be with a man. It takes a lot. And it's not that, men are so awful and so bad. You know, I mean, what you go through feels awful and bad. What you go through, it feels awful and bad. But I've learned that it's just a part of the job. And then they go through what they go through with us. We're not them. So we can't, you know, speak for them. I don't know what it's like to provide for a woman, care for a woman. I have no idea, other than my daughters. That's as close as I've come, and that might be enough. I have no idea, but I do know what it's like to care for a man. I do. I do. Whether they leave me for somebody else or not, I still know what 32 years worth of care for a man is like, and his kids, the man and his kids. I know what it's like. And one of the things that I liked most was complete acceptance. I accepted myself in those relationships and I accepted them until it was over. Once it was over, it was just over. And now I talk my stuff. So click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Bye.